Hi friends. I know that most of you are very familiar with elder abuse as you are watching this video. But are you familiar with elder abuse by neglect? What is that, you say? Elder abuse by neglect, or elder neglect, is the abuse of a senior when the caretaker fails to fulfill their obligations to care for them, usually resulting in illness or injury. It's when the basic needs that aren't being fulfilled include providing food, water, shelter, clothing, hygiene, and essential medical care, among other things. It can be intentional or unintentional, but it's still abuse. It can be based on factors such as ignorance. In other words, the caregiver is unaware, but it's still abuse. And it can be based on the denial that the senior needs as much care as they actually do, but it's still abuse. Often elder neglect is only discovered when the senior is admitted to hospital and the staff have to report it to the police. It's usually devastating, and sometimes it's even murder, as occurred in the case that follows. Let me share the details, because elder abuse matters. This case comes from news reports found online. In 2016, a 45-year-old woman from a southern U.S. state was charged with second-degree murder and abuse, exploitation, and neglect of a vulnerable adult in what was described by police as the most severe case of neglect they've ever seen. It has been alleged that the daughter neglected to take care of her mother, which directly resulted in the senior woman's death. The daughter was the sole caregiver of her mother, a 78-year-old woman, who died due to what authorities determined were preventable infections she received while in her daughter's care. The local protective authorities had investigated the daughter's care of the senior woman 2 years earlier and opened a new case 1 year ago after the mother was found wandering along a street. At that time, she was taken to the local health center with severe infections on her lower legs. One wound was bloody and had a maggot infestation. She was treated and suggested follow-up care was provided to her. About 2 months later, the mother fell in her home where she and the caregiver daughter lived. This daughter had been given power of attorney 2 years prior and had lived with her mother in the home for nearly a year. The elderly woman was left on the floor for 12 days without medical care. According to the daughter's statement to authorities, she said she did not call for medical assistance until her mother had been unresponsive for 24 hours, and only then did she call for an ambulance. Officials say the senior was covered with bed sores and had a severe infection that would have taken weeks to form. She stayed at the hospital until under a doctor's care and responding only to pain stimuli, and eventually she was pronounced dead a week later. Sepsis shock was determined to be the cause of death, and that would have been caused by the infections. A search warrant revealed the senior woman had been living in filthy conditions in their home that she shared with that daughter. Well, I have to say I'm speechless. What can one say about this report? Wow, I guess I don't really understand how some people exist, and I can't grasp how the daughter didn't seek out help sooner. At a point, it must have maybe it wasn't perhaps intentional that she hurt her mother. Perhaps it was unintentional. And then it moves from ignorance or denial to abuse. How very, very sad for this mom to be treated this way by anyone, but to spend her final days suffering and in pain, all because her daughter didn't care enough about her to call someone, to call anyone. And all this occurred after the authorities had already opened a case on the woman and knew what her daughter was doing. I know I'm saying a lot considering I just said I was speechless, but learning about these murder reports is one of the most terrible aspects of sharing elder abuse. I hope that if you know any elder neglect situations, that they won't be as severe as this one. Please leave your comments below if you care to, because elder abuse matters. Friends, our goal here is to share abuse cases so that if you or someone you know is or has been abused, you'll know that you are not alone. While it can be therapeutic to hear others' stories, it may also be helpful for you to anonymously share your own story of abuse on this channel and possibly help others. Just check the show notes below to find out how. And finally, if you've benefited from this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to grow the channel so that together we can reduce the abuse, because elder abuse matters. Please stay safe, seek help, and know that I'm praying for you.